How's it going, guys? So I just got done watching episode 17 of Dragon Ball Super, the English dub, and I really liked this episode. It was very fun, more slice of life, very simple, very straightforward, but there are two main things that I'm basically going to cover for this review, so you can expect this review to be a lot shorter than my other reviews for Dragon Ball Super. But one, we get the introduction of Pan, which I'm really happy to see happen within this episode. But number two, we actually have Goku find out that Vegeta is off training with Whis, and that Goku is just finding out now after 6 months. So he's very jealous that the fact that Vegeta has had all this time to train while he's been working at his farm job. So you can already tell that Goku is like, oh my god, I have to train right now. So very funny moments with Goku in later parts of this episode. But at the very beginning of this episode, we actually have a time skip. We have 6 months pass in between episodes 16 and 17. But this time skip is actually very important to note because it allows us to know that Vegeta has been off training with Whis for 6 months. So when we see Vegeta next in the next episode, odds are he's going to be a lot stronger thanks to his training with Whis. But another important thing about this time skip is that it allows like Videl to actually give birth to Pan, and now Pan is actually within the story and is actually, you know, out in the world of Dragon Ball, which is very nice to see. And basically the Pan parts of this episode, I really enjoyed a lot of the parts and just getting to see Gohan and Mr. Satan playing with Pan. But the main story arc for this introduction to Pan is basically all the characters trying to decide what type of life is going to be best for Pan, whether she grow up to be a scholar or just a normal person or a martial artist. That's basically what everyone's arguing about. You know, Chi-Chi is the one that doesn't want anything to do with martial arts, just wants Pan to grow up to be a nice, elegant, beautiful woman of society and just, you know, making a life that's going to be good for her. But eventually this all boils down to Videl's choice, because this is Videl's child. It is Gohan's too, but Chi-Chi is not having it with Gohan, but she does in fact give Videl, just basically saying like, you decide what you want to do for your child. And Videl, I love the choice that she just ends up saying, is basically saying Pan could have any life that she wants to live, and because Videl lived the life that she wanted to do martial arts, it led her to Gohan, and now they have this life together. So whatever Pan wants to do, she could end up doing. But I just really like the character interactions that we actually got within this episode, whether it be Gohan with Pan, Mr. Satan and Pan, even Chi-Chi with Pan. Even though Chi-Chi just ruins all the fun for a lot of these characters, I did like to see her embracing the grandmother role and just seeing her holding Pan. It was just very nice to see. But while they're all having this conversation between Videl, Chi-Chi, and Bulma, another thing to note too, Bulma has a new character design within this episode. It's very nice. I actually really like the character design, but it makes her look a lot younger, and I would just expect her to look older within the time frame of where Dragon Ball Super takes place. That's just my preference, and it's just the way I'm looking at the design. I still like the design, but I would just expect her to be a little bit older. But while they're all sitting at the table, Videl, Chi-Chi, and Bulma lets it slip that Vegeta is off training with Whis, and this is when Goku just comes barging in and is like, wait a minute, what did you just say? He breaks a hole in the wall, and he's like, wait, Vegeta's been training with Whis for 6 months? And so Chi-Chi is just yelling at him and just basically like, all you care about is training, and Goku is just hell-bent on trying to get Whis so that way he can just beg him to train him. And so we have this little montage of just Goku constantly badgering Bulma about, when is Whis getting here? When is Whis getting here? He even interrupts her when she's getting out of the shower. I'm like, Goku, there's a thing called personal space. You need to learn it. But there's a very funny moments, but then eventually Bulma ends up giving Goku a phone. Is like, take this. I will call you when Whis comes. Stop annoying me. So I really like this part too, because I'm watching this part and I'm like, does Goku even know how to work a phone? But eventually Goku gets the call from Bulma. Whis ends up arriving because he's on his lunch date now with Bulma. And so Goku arrives and he's basically like, hey Whis, I hear you're training Vegeta. Please train me. And I find this actually really odd because Vegeta had to, you know, basically jump through hoops to get Whis to train him. Like, Vegeta had to present this elegant dish that he has never tried on Earth before in order to get him to train him. But for Goku, Whis is just like, yeah, sure, I'll train you. It's about time. So that's an interesting line to note as well, because even Bulma ends up asking him, it's like, what do you mean it's the right time? So there's a little mystery going on as to why Whis was just able to accept Goku just so much faster than Vegeta. So I'm really interested to see if we're going to get an answer to that within this episode. But then we finally get, you know, that last little confrontation of Goku and Chi-Chi. And I think it's just funny to note within this episode, whenever Chi-Chi is yelling at Goku within this episode, Goku is terrified. He is one of the strongest people people in the series. Like, he fought Frieza, he fought Cell, he fought Majin Buu, he fought Beerus, but yet when it comes to Chi-Chi, he quivers and hides behind Goten. He hides behind his son from Chi-Chi. So I just find that completely hilarious. But we have Chi-Chi, you know, badgering Goku, basically saying like, you better not go off training. But as soon as Whis is about to leave, he just makes a break for it and is like, sorry, Chi-Chi, I'm going off training. Ends up grabbing Whis in the nick of time, and he ends up going off to train with Whis wherever Vegeta is on Beerus's planet. And then basically Chi-Chi is just like, oh well, Goku is Goku, and just goes back, and then her and Bulma are just talking about the next party that Bulma's going to be having. And it's just like, wow, she just gave up on that real quick. So again, a very simple episode. It's got some weird moments within it, but I found them very funny. And the fact that Goku is just terrified of Chi-Chi throughout this entire episode is just very interesting to note. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' thoughts on this episode overall? Did you like seeing the introduction of Pan? Because I know that a lot of Dragon Ball fans were waiting for the introduction of Pan, and ever since they realized that Videl was pregnant in the Battle of Gods arc, it was just a matter of time until Pan was about to enter the story, which I'm really glad happened within this episode. So give me your overall thoughts on what you thought about this episode, and if you guys are fans of Dragon Ball Super and are watching the English dub, I would love to talk with you guys. Feel free to subscribe so that we can continue this conversation as these episodes come out. Very simple episode. That's going to be the end of this review. Until episode 18 comes out next week, I'll talk with you guys later. All right, guys. See you later.